To stop a killer, you have to think like one.
You want to know why we do it?
In the beginning, there was only the crime scene. The evidence, the what and the where. Special Agent Holden Ford was a hostage negotiator. He believed in the power of dialogue, in understanding.
Cody, this is your last chance. Send out.
He believed every subject had a key. You just had to find the right lock. But some doors were never meant to be opened.
It's just you and me now, Cody. Talk to me.
He was listening for a reason to stay.
The old methods were failing. The rules were changing.
And a new kind of criminal was emerging, one that defied all logic.
There's no motive you'd recognize. No money, no revenge. He kills because he has to.
You can't negotiate with something you don't understand.
So, we learn to understand it.
Deviant behavior often went back to school, searching for a new language to describe the evil he was starting to see.
So you're an FBI agent who wants to understand deviancy? That's also oxymoron.
Bill Tench had been doing this for years, teaching, observing, collecting fragments of a dark puzzle.
This is what's out there, and no one wants to talk about it. But you do.
I do. So they took it on the road. Two men with a tape recorder and 1,000 questions. Their first stop was Vacaville, California, home to some of the state's most notorious offenders. He was going to meet a man who had killed his own grandparents, and then 6 young women. He was nervous. He should have been terrified.
Agent Ford, I'm Ed. Thanks for coming to see me. You see, killing is one thing, but the real challenge is the logistics.
He wasn't a monster. He was something far more unsettling. He was a thinker.
You have to be smart. You have to be patient. You have to know what they want.
He saw his victims as objects, a means to an end, and that end was possession. You take their life, and in a way, you get to keep them forever.
It was in that room, under that single light, that the FBI's war on serial crime truly began. But a war needs a strategy, and their strategy was about to find a new general. Dr. Wendy Carr was a psychologist. She studied the patterns of sexual violence. She thought like they did. She knew that to catch them, you had to understand the fantasy, the need.
It's not just about control. It's about ritual, a script they have to follow. We need to classify them: organized, disorganized, mixed.
Jerry Brudos was their next subject, a man whose fantasies were so powerful they became his reality. His violence was driven by fetish, a need to possess the object of his desire.
Wendy watched. She saw the pattern in his pauses, the truth in his lies.
They were all the same, and they were all different. Each interview was a piece of the puzzle, a terrifying education. But knowledge comes at a price. The darkness they studied began to seep into their own lives.
You know, Holden, you and I are not so different. We're both very curious about the same things. The only difference is I acted on it.
Bill brought the horror home, not in words, but in the silence that now filled their house. He couldn't talk about it. How do you tell your wife you spent the day inside a monster's head? Wendy, too, was alone. Her brilliance was a barrier, her secrets a second skin.
You're not listening to me.
He'd started using language at home, trying to understand the people he loved as if they were subjects.
You think you're better than me? You come in here with your fancy suit, you're just a tourist. You think you're better than me? You come in here with your fancy suit, you're just a tourist. You know what they do to guys like you in here, Dick? You're nobody.
He'd crossed a line. He'd let the monster get under his skin.
The Bureau didn't care about the confession. They cared about the method.
Your methods are unconventional, some say unethical. The very thing that made him effective was now the thing that could destroy his career.
He got a confession. He got more than we've ever gotten.
The team fractured. Under pressure, their loyalties were tested. The personal bled into the professional, and Holden lost the one person who kept him grounded. He was alone, with nothing but the voices in his head and the voices on the tapes. He tried to throw it all away, but it was too late. The darkness was already inside him, and it wasn't leaving. But the work wasn't over. It was just beginning. In Atlanta, Georgia, the darkness had taken a new, more tragic form. Children were disappearing. Young, black children. And for a long time, no one seemed to care. The Atlanta police were overwhelmed. The community was terrified and angry, and the FBI was called in. This was different. These weren't co-eds or runaways. They were someone's children.
It's okay, son. Just tell me what you saw.
He was tall, with a dark hat.
They had to adapt.
I'm here to listen.
They don't tell the whole story.
I know. That's why I'm here.
Piece by piece, they built a profile. It was a gamble, and a desperate one. The killer was growing bolder. He was dumping bodies in plain sight. They caught him on a bridge, a 23-year-old music promoter named Wayne Williams.
Well, you got the wrong guy.
The trial was a circus. The evidence was circumstantial. But for the families, he had to be the one. Bill knew the profile. He knew the type. And he wasn't sure Williams fit. Not completely. Holden was looking for the man they'd studied, the organized, predatory killer. But all he saw was a con man.
These fibers from Williams's car are a precise match to those on the victims.
In the end, it was science that compares, not the psychology. But science couldn't answer the question that haunted a city and a mother.
I need to know the truth. Was it him? Tell me. For all of them, was it him?
And they couldn't answer. Because the truth was, they didn't know. The case was closed. But for them, and for her, it would never be solved. They left Atlanta as they arrived, together, but carrying a heavier weight. Bill went home to a world that felt more foreign than any prison cell. He'd been so focused on the killers out there, he'd missed the warning signs in his own house. Something had happened with Brian, something dark, and Bill hadn't been there to see it or to stop it. The work had cost him his family, and now he wasn't sure he could get them back. Wendy had built a life, a relationship, but she still lived in the space between herself and the world. Holden was alone again, but this time it was a choice. The only way to protect anyone else from the darkness he carried. He had to believe the work was worth the cost. He had to believe they were making a difference. Bill had to believe that understanding evil was the only way to stop it, even if he couldn't stop it in his own home. Wendy knew the work was everything. It was the one place where the chaos had a pattern, a logic.
They came back. Not because it was easy, but because they were the only ones who could.
The interviews continued, each one adding a new chapter to a dark encyclopedia. They had become a machine, a finely tuned instrument for extracting the truth from the abyss. But while they studied the past, the future was already taking shape. In Wichita, Kansas,
The FBI has formed a new unit to profile an unidentified killer.
You'll never guess. Not in a million years.
his name was Dennis Rader, and he would give himself a name the world would never forget. He called himself BTK, Bind, Torture, Kill. He would kill again, and he would write letters taunting the police for over 30 years. The work was never finished. For every monster they interviewed, a new one was born.
The patterns were there, but they couldn't see them all. Not yet. Who is this guy? I don't know, but he wants us to find him.
You want to catch them, Bill? You have to think like them. You have to want what they want.
The nightmares never stopped. They just learned to live with them.
The only way to fight the darkness was to understand it, completely and without flinching.
They were the few who had looked into the abyss, and the abyss had looked back.
And so they kept driving into the heart of the darkness, because someone had to.
In the end, they weren't just hunting monsters, they were building a map of the human soul, and the most terrifying discovery was how easy it was to get lost.